I just kept pushing. I kept saying, I had my higher power. I kept pushing through it and kept saying, this is going to be over soon. This is going to be over soon. I just have to keep going one more day. I have to go one more day. And I always made the best of everything because I did have a lot of people that I talked with a lot while I was in the mission. And a lot of the girls, plus I was older. There was a lot of younger girls, I was the grandma,
Welcome to Beyond the Window podcast. My name is Danny. And today we're going to be talking about something that affects millions of lives, addiction and recovery. My guest is not only my coworker, but is someone who I deeply respect. And today she's going to be sharing her experience, strength, and hope. Kat, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Kat, and I work in Detox, and I have 9 years clean, and I love my life today.
It's an honor to have you here, Kat. Thank you for
you.
joining us today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. So tell us a little bit, when did drugs and alcohol enter your life?
Well, I was adopted at birth, and when I was 16, I started experimenting because I had this image that I was a little chunky, and I liked energy. So I started experiencing with different kinds of things, and I really didn't start until about when I was 21 years old. I had already had one child and already divorced by the time I was 19. And I started using a little bit more, and my life at that time I didn't think was too bad, I didn't know what addiction was. I didn't know that I was starting a problem, and I had been married several times. I had several different kids, 6 total. And throughout the years, it progressed. I ended up losing a couple kids to the system. And I still didn't really know. I just figured that I was just having fun, and I was in domestic violence relationships, and I didn't tell my parents. I hid it, and throughout the years, it just progressed, and jails, institutions, and prison. And what changed was when I was 52, my daughter called me, and she was incarcerated. And that led me to, she's like, "Mom, you got to go get the baby." And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I got the baby, and I was not clean. And I got him, and a couple months went by, and my life started to unfold completely. And my youngest daughter was living with me, and we were living in a different city. And I decided that I needed to make some heavy changes. So I thought I would go to Ohio. And on my way to Ohio, I had a cat in my car. And I had everything that I owned was in my car. I had a kitten or a cat. It clawed me. And on the way to Ohio, I was like, what is going on? I just thought it was a cat scratch. So by the time I got to Ohio, it took me a couple days, and I had my grandson in the back seat in a little car seat, and my daughter was in the front seat. And I got to where I was going. I had some dear friends out there that were going to let me live there, and I was going to change my whole life around, and I was going to be clean. And I had an infection, a real bad infection, and so I had to come back. So on my way back from Ohio, after I got better, because I was dehydrated, of course, because I was starting at that time to actually not do the drugs that I still had. And I kept telling myself, you're just going to stop. And usually if I could just sleep, I would be okay. And thank God for my friends that I had there. They helped me take care of the kids while I slept for a couple of days. I was dehydrated. I dropped a whole bunch of weight, and we drove back. Well, on the way back, it was February 14th, and it was Valentine's Day. Sorry. And I got a phone call from my dear friend. Said, "What are you doing?" And I says, "I don't know. I'm in a blizzard." We were we were actually in a truck stop, and they had no power, so the doors locked, and they let us stay there. So the kids were sleeping on my lap, and I was talking to Gwen, trying to figure out where I was going to go and what we were going to do. And she said, "Just drive to my house. Just get to my house." So that's what I did. I showed up at our house at like 1:20 in the morning, a couple days later. And I had worked previously at a place called Hope Gardens, and I had lived there in 2007 when my daughter was born. And so, talk about being humble and talk about being embarrassed. I called them and I started asking them, "Can I please come back? Can I please come back? I need to get back because it's a transitional living for women and children." So they said, "Sure, but you're going to have to start over. You can't just come to Hope Gardens. You're going to go downtown to Skid Row." And I says, "Okay, so I'll do that." So I was at Gwen's on the couch for a few days, and we got everything together. And I went down to Skid Row to the Mission, and I walked in there with my grandson. I didn't even have a stroller at the time. And I walked in there, and they gave me like a week to get my paperwork together because I had lost all the documents for the kids. And I walked in, and at that time, they said that they gave me 2 weeks to find all the paperwork. So thank God for my dear friends who actually works in the residential treatment side. He took me, and he would get off work at 5 o'clock in the morning from where he was working. He would come downtown to Skid Row, pick me and the baby up, or I would take the red line every single morning, and we went and got all the documents. We went and got all the papers from everywhere. I mean, we were hustling to get all the documents, and that's hard. I had to get 3 Social Security cards, original birth certificates, and my paper from the power of attorney that my daughter had signed to give me guardianship. So that was in Norwalk. So you can imagine every day we were meeting up, we were going everywhere to get all this paperwork, and we got it done. So I stayed down at the Mission for 96 days on Skid Row, and I would get on the red line every morning, and I would take buses, and my grandson I finally got a stroller, and we just started doing this thing, and I just kept pushing forward, moving forward. And then I started going to meetings, and I went to another shelter for some reason, which was in Pasadena, for 43 more days. And I was on a waiting list for the Hope Gardens. So I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. My family unit of my sponsor, all my coworkers are like my sisters. And then also the tech that works in residential. I lived at the Hope Gardens for 3 years. And meanwhile, I went to school. I had an entrepreneurship. I got my own cleaning business for a while. And because I had to have 2 years clean before I could get into treatment. So I called one of my dearest friends, and I says, "I got 2 years. Can I get a job?" And so we worked at another treatment center. And to do that resume, I was literally in a tree because there was no service up in the canyon. Got a resume. I started working there. And then her and I both came over from that other treatment center to La Ventana. And Now I'm with all the women in my life. My best friend, who is my boss, actually. I work in Detox, and my sponsor works here. Her sponsor works here, who is my grand sponsor. And I don't make any decisions without running anything by them. I don't I don't react to anything without calling them first, because that was my problem all the time. I was a impulsive person who would just react on anything, and I would run. I was a runner. When I was 52 is when I got clean, and I made a decision with my higher power and myself and my kids that I was going to do this thing no matter what. You know, you always have a choice to change for the bad, and I chose to walk through everything. I mean, I would literally sit on my bathroom floor crying. I would call my friend up and tell her, "Come and get him. I can't take care of him. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough." And I would cry. I would cry. And my daughter would come in and say, "Mom, what do you mean? You are so strong. You have walked, did you know what you just done? You've walked through so much." I mean, who goes down to Skid Row and lives there to do what I had to do? And it was scary. It was very scary. And but I did it. I did it. I got through it. And with the help of all my friends, of course, and my tribe. My tribe is so important to me. They're like these women are, they carry me. When I can't carry myself, they carry me, and they don't allow me to leave. And I don't want to leave anymore. See, that's the good thing. I've changed so much that I don't even think about, oh, I'll just go use. I don't even, that thought never comes into my head. My instant thinking is solution. Get in the solution, and what are we going to do? My dear friend who works here would say, "So what's the solution? Now that you're done complaining and yelling and screaming, what's the solution?" And I go, "Oh, okay, that's right." So I'm always in the solution. And now I have 9 years clean, and the grandson is now 10 years old, and we have a house in Simi Valley, and we work for things. You know, I strive to do better every day. And that's a little bit about my story. And all my kids, most of them came back into my life, and they're amazed, you know. And now they say that they like to follow in my footsteps, and that's a really good feeling when your kids look up to you. You know, I didn't have that for a long time, and I was not a good human. I was very selfish, but I'm not today. So that's a little bit about my story.
Thank you for sharing it with us, Kat. That was so precious.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I want to take a moment to speak to anyone who may be struggling. If you or someone you love is dealing with mental health challenges, trauma, or substance use, please know that you do not have to figure it out alone. At Ventana treatment programs, we provide personalized, compassionate care that treats the whole person, not just the symptoms. Through individual therapy, group support, family involvement, and structured levels of care, our team helps people take the next step towards healing. Visit laventanatreatment.com or call us today. We're here to help. Now back to the conversation.
You know, I can visualize when you were talking about Skid Row. It's like maybe some of our viewers don't know what it's like to live in such an environment. Like when you first went to Skid Row, what was that like?
It was the smell of urine. That smell will never come out of my nose, I don't think. It was so sad. It was I would just walk through the streets as fast as I could to get where I had to go. But one thing I did do is I would always say good morning to everybody. I would always smile and be the first one to say good morning. It's very scary. It's very sad down there, and it's very, nobody cares. They do drugs right out on the street. In the elevator, they do not care who you are or if there's a child there. It's very, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, you know? It really does. So, yeah, it's not a pretty place. I would not recommend it to anybody, you know?
How did you find the hope to like walk through all that? Such a difficult environment, right? With those children that you had with you.
Yeah.
What was your source of hope?
I just kept pushing. I kept saying, I had my higher power. I kept pushing through it and kept saying, this is going to be over soon. This is going to be over soon. I just have to keep going one more day. I have to go one more day. And I always made the best of everything because I did have a lot of people that I talked with a lot while I was in the mission. And a lot of the girls, plus I was older. There was a lot of younger girls. I was the grandma, and you find the people that you connect with. And I would get involved and I would volunteer in the kitchen. And I would volunteer mopping because I like to mop, I like cleaning. And I would volunteer. So I stayed very busy. And everybody loved Wes, of course, because he would look like Boss Baby at the time. And so we made the best of it, and I got to where I had to go, and at nighttime I would talk to one of the overnight staff because I would be pushing Wes in his stroller because he'd be crying because if he cries, because he would sleep in a day room with everybody. And we always made it fun, we always made it fun. The ladies would talk at night and the kids would talk at night, and all the older kids loved Wes. So it was really, we made it we made it better for ourselves. You always adapt. I'm an adapter, One of my counselors always said that I was like a chameleon. I could just blend in and make everything okay. I prayed a lot. I did. I prayed a lot. And I stayed grateful because gratitude is really huge for me because like I could have missed all of this. And I just kept pushing through. It's going to be okay. It's going to be another day. You got through this day. Thank you, God, for getting me through this day. Plus a lot of my friends, I had a lot of support. I have to say, they were right there. They would take Wes on the weekend because I'd get a weekend pass so I could stay out. I'd go to Burbank and I would stay with my family, my friends, and have slumber parties, and go to meetings. We went to a lot of meetings. So I always made the best of it,
What's your relationship like with those kids now? Like, okay, so at some point we were in the darkness of Skid Row and addiction, but a lot's changed, right? These last 9 years. So where are these kids at, and what's it like with them?
My grandson thinks that I am amazing. He calls me Wonder Woman all the time. And my youngest daughter, she says that she loves the way I am. She is so grateful that I got clean and stayed clean. She loves that she has her mom. My other kids are in my life. I talk to them every single day. I text them every morning. One of my other daughters, who's still away, I teach her. I tell her how to walk through things, and she's doing this as well. She's staying clean, and she says she wishes she could be the woman that I am. She says, I want to be just like you. I go, you already are. You just have to bring it out. So they are all wonderful. They're all great. One of the kids does not talk to me, and that's okay. He has his own feelings, but I don't take that on anymore. That's not my business. It's his feelings, and he has every right to feel the way he feels. So, and then one I don't even have communication with because he got adopted out early, unfortunately. So, but I'm sure he's doing well, and I love them very much.
So how did you land at La Ventana? What made you want to work in treatment now?
I wanted to help other people, and I want people to see, because I'm very, very, if I could do this, people can do this. They have to not quit before the miracle. And it sounds so corny and cliche, but I always tell my clients when they're there in detox, don't give up, because it's like, it sounds so corny, but it's magic. To see the light in people's eyes after they've been through detox and they go to residential, I see them and I'm just amazed. You wouldn't see that if you weren't right there. And I always tell them, if you quit before the miracle, then you have to come back anyways. So you might as well stay. I love seeing people when the light goes on in their eyes and they sparkle and you see them after just even 7 days. It is the best feeling in the world because I don't want anybody being like me at 52, having nothing except for beautiful children, and trying to get clean again. It's a very humbling experience, but at the same time, all that time, you could have been clean and just stayed, So I try to stress that a lot to people, like, just stay. Because a lot of them have their own life, their whole life ahead of them. And they quit before the miracle. They quit before they give themselves a chance. Because we want instant gratification. And at times, instant gratification, you're not grateful for that, So that's why I went into treatment, because I want to share everything I can, and I want younger generation to understand that you can have a whole life. You don't have to use the drugs, and the drugs these days kill you. Even worse than they did before, of course. But if you can, live a life without drugs and alcohol, it's so much better. Yes, there's struggles, but, because starting over at 52 was a little bit hard, but that's okay. I do what I do. And I'm grateful for everything that I went through,
Earlier, you talked about, like, you said that you were very impulsive, right? And you started talking about this whole tribe thing, right? Now I have a tribe. Why is that so important for people in recovery to, even if they don't have a tribe, to find their tribe? Like, what are the benefits of having a tribe, and how are you using that today in your life?
Yeah, it's very important. And I tell the girls and I tell the men along with, everybody, if you have women stick with women at first, okay? You get some women that you like. Foundation and family tribe is very important because we can't do this alone. When we're alone, we don't stay clean usually. We get depressed. Everything comes along with all that. Having a tribe and having women in your life, or men in your life if you're a man, you connect with them, and everybody, 5 different opinions on something are better than one opinion. 5 different solutions is way better than one. And I found for me, in the last 9 years, when I take direction from the 5 women that have gone ahead of me, before me, like, okay, so they're doing this, so maybe I should try it. Even when I don't like to try it and take direction, I go, okay, but wait, it's working for them. These women, my women that I have, they have many years, and if they're doing this, maybe I should start thinking and listening and following direction, and following my tribe. Family and fellowship and tribes are very important, to go through things not alone, and what I have in my life will benefit my other friends, or all the different aspects in my life, because I've gone through a lot. Well, I've put myself through a lot. I haven't gone through a lot. I've put myself through a lot. I have all these different areas in my life. I've been through domestic violence. I've lost kids. I've gotten kids. And so I can usually always help in some way or another. And having a group of women talking, because there's so many similarities, that usually helps, as men too. I'm just talking more about women because, of course, I'm a woman. So that works for me. And sticking with people that have the same ideas of life help a lot too,
Some of our viewers might still be in active addiction. Maybe some of our viewers are family members who have a loved one who's struggling with addiction. Some of our viewers might be currently experiencing homelessness, right? Like you did. Like, what final message would you like to give off to these viewers?
if you're still using, you can always come back. It's hard, it's scary, but they can definitely walk through it. They just got to take the first step. Call somebody, call a family member, call somebody. There's always hope and there's always a solution. To the families, try to get in some of the Al-Anon or trying to reach out. You got to reach out. If you reach out, one phone call can change your whole life. And that's the blessing of everything. One phone call can change your life and anybody's life, but keep moving forward and don't give up. Don't quit. There it is again. Don't quit before the miracle. Make a change. Call a friend. Call somebody. Go to a meeting and ask somebody, because I would go to meetings, I'd sit in the back of the room. Living homelessness is very scary. And I never thought that I would walk into that shelter. It was very scary. But once you do it once, you can do it again and again. The first part is the scariest. I'm not gonna lie. The first part is the scariest. Going down there and walking in the front door was the scariest thing. And everybody there helps you. And they will point you in the right direction. There's always hope. Yeah, it's not pretty, but there's always hope. Just walking through.
What a powerful story, Kat. Thank you for sharing it with us. It's like, it just teaches me, like, despite how challenging our life circumstances may be, recovery is possible.
Yes,
No matter what, it is available.
Yes. Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we
No,
close out?
I'm just grateful today. I could have missed all of this. As I was telling you earlier, Danny, I could have missed all of this. My dad's 92, and I could have missed all of this. And this is the most, I have self-esteem. Self-esteem is very important. Self-esteem came back, and I love myself today. I love myself. And my kids love me. And yeah, I could have missed it all. That's the gift of this. I could have missed all of this. So.
And we love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Window podcast. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.